a new episode of Do It at Home. Today we will have a great day. First, we will see how our plants are doing. It has been a week since we planted them, so we must see if there has been any changes. Let's go quickly with Carla to see how she and her plants are doing.
Thank you, Marian. Hello, everyone. It's so great to be on this new episode of the show. We are going to see how our plants evolved, how they were transformed over the past week, how they grew, how they were transformed by water and sunshine and started growing and growing and growing and growing. I know that I saw the sweet potatoes, remember? The tiny little sweet potato ends with a few leaves. They started growing and growing and growing so much that I decided to change the pot that they were in. Are you ready to check them out? So these are my little sweet potatoes. Look how much they've grown. Let's see. Turn. They all started out like yay high, very tiny, and they started growing, and look at how tall this one has gotten. I watered them every other day, so one day I watered them, the next day I didn't, and they received some sunlight, and now look at them. They're big and growing and strong. My watermelon seeds, on the other hand, have also been receiving water and have been in sunlight, but I guess they take longer to grow. We'll be patient with these guys. So that is how our plants are doing. That's how my sweet potato and my watermelon are growing. So different. Each plant grows differently? Does each plant need something different to grow? Different quantity water, different quantity sun? I think so. How are your plants doing? How much sun and how much water do they need? How many words of encouragement and love? Tell us how it's going. Okay, Marian, back to you in the studios.
Wow, Carla, what a great job you are doing. Thanks a lot for your advices. Now, let's see my plant. I can't see any big changes, but it seems to me that some small, tiny, little roots are already showing. Can you see it? Oh, I will write that down. Okay, I will put day 8, the name of my plant, and look, I did the tiny roots. Perfect. Oh, remember that the water always touch the bottom of our plant. That's the secret. Okay, today we will have a new guest, Mrs. Nana. Mrs. Nana is going to read a book for us. So, I'm with you, Nana.
Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Mrs. Nana. First, I want to say thank you to Marian. Thank you, Marian, for inviting me to this great show. Okay, today in Read It at Home, I will share Sophie's Squash, one of my favorite books, okay? Pay has a beautiful lesson. Okay, let's see it.
And now, Sophie's Squash. Written by Pat Zietlow Miller. Illustrated by Ann Wilsdorf. One bright fall day, Sophie chose a squash at the farmer's market. Her parents planned to serve it for supper, but Sophie had other ideas. It was just the right size to hold in her arms, just the right size to bounce on her knee, just the right size to love. "I'm glad we met," Sophie whispered. "Good friends are hard to find." At home, Sophie used markers to give her squash a face. Then she wrapped it in a blanket and rocked it to sleep. When it was time to make supper, Sophie's mother looked at the squash. She looked at Sophie. "I call her Bernice," Sophie said. "I'll call for pizza," said her mother. After that, Bernice went everywhere with Sophie. To story time at the library, to visit other squash at the farmer's market, to practice somersaults by the garden. Every night, Sophie gave Bernice a bottle, a hug, and a kiss. "Well, we did hope she'd love vegetables," Sophie's mother told her father. "Shh," Sophie said. "Bernice is sleeping." "Sweet pea," Sophie's mother said one morning as they made blueberry waffles. "Bernice is a squash, not a friend. If we don't eat her soon, she'll get mushy and gross. Let's bake her with marshmallows. Won't that taste yummy?" "Don't listen, Bernice," Sophie cried. That afternoon, Sophie's father took her shopping. "Sugar beet," he said. "Bernice is a squash. Why don't you pick a nice toy to play with instead?" But the trucks were too hard, and the dolls were too soft. Sophie clutched Bernice tightly. "No thanks," she said. "I have everything I need." After supper, Sophie's parents called a family meeting. Bernice napped in Sophie's lap. "Why don't we donate Bernice to the food pantry before she rots?" her father suggested. Sophie shook her head. "Bernice will last forever." "Bernice seems a little blotchy," said Sophie's dad on the way to the library one day. "She looks perfect to me," Sophie replied. At story time, some kids pointed and stared. "What's that spotty thing?" a boy asked. "Her name is Bernice, and she's a squash," Sophie said, "with freckles." "Maybe Bernice should stay home next time," Sophie's mother suggested. "Why?" Sophie asked. "She wasn't the one being rude." Still, as winter neared, Sophie noticed changes. Bernice seemed softer, and her somersaults lacked their usual style. "Visiting friends will cheer you up," Sophie said. At the farmer's market, squash were everywhere. Firm, shiny squash. "What keeps a squash healthy?" Sophie asked a farmer. "It's simple, really," he said. "Fresh air, good, clean dirt, a little love." Well, Sophie thought, I have all that. At home, Sophie cleared leaves from Bernice's favorite spot. She made a bed of soft soil, tucked Bernice in, and kissed her goodnight. "Get better soon," she whispered. That night, while Sophie slept, the wind whistled and tiny snowflakes fell. When she awoke, the world was covered in white. "Do you think Bernice is cold out there?" Sophie asked her mother. "I'm sure she's warm and cozy under her snow blanket," her mother replied. Sophie gazed out the window all morning. She was still there in the afternoon when her father came home with a surprise. "You need a new friend," he said. "Meet Ace." Ace was nice, but boring. He just swam around and around in his bowl. But during the long winter, Sophie discovered that Ace was a superb silent reader who did fabulous flip turns. And he always listened politely when she talked about Bernice. Bernice was great at keeping secrets. When the snow finally melted, Sophie rushed to the garden. The only thing there was a small green sprout. It looked strangely familiar. "Bernice!" Sophie said. "How was your winter?" After that, Sophie, Ace, and Bernice ate lunch together every day. One bright summer morning, Sophie somersaulted across her yard, landed by the garden, and stared in disbelief. Bernice had grown 2 tiny squash. "Wow," Sophie told them. "You look just like your mom." Soon, Bonnie and Baxter were just the right size for Sophie to hold in her arms and bounce on her knee. Just the right size to love.
That's why I love this book. It's so beautiful. It's just the right side to love. Okay, what happened in this story? What happened in Jacaranda's story? What happened today we took it out? Took it out has been transformed. And this book teaches us how nature is always transforming. And for me, that's a beautiful lesson. So I hope that you enjoy this new part of the show, and see you soon. Back to you, Marian.
Oh, Nana, that was amazing. Thank you for this beautiful gift. Okay, we have run out of today's show time, but I will see you soon. Thank you for being there. Have a great week.